हरे कृष्ण ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे Hare Krishna. So here Lord Kapila is continuing. Will not. This is the 27th chapter. Now here what happened in the previous section is Lord explained how how it is happening, the bondage, how it is like, how the creation is happening, how we are getting our mind, senses, and ego, how they are created. And then next he told that this is Prakriti was created by the Lord, and then the seed for that also is given by the Lord. So two things happened, like we discussed. So Prakriti is needed, like the material nature is there. So how the material nature came, that is from the Lord only. Now, nature is not sufficient for creation. We need Purusha also, the seed. The nature came from the Lord. Nature is all the ingredients. So all the ingredients they appeared from the Lord. Now the ingredients are not just sufficient. You need the seed also. That is also given to the Lord. And then Udatishtati Tad Virat. So then it starts manifesting. This is the most important part. Like the nature is the Lord, the cause is the Lord, and the effect is also Lord. So both the things, cause and effect. Now here the seed is the living entities, also the energy part. Both are the Supreme Lord only. Now the ingredients are there. Now you need energy and you need living entities. And these living entities, the kala, karma and swabhava are stored for the living entities. It is stored in a much more subtler way, not in the chitta, buddh, manahankar, because they are not anyway there for the living entities when they are in the womb of Mahavishnu. This is to be understood. Like first we have Prakriti, which is transformed, into Mahatattva and all the elements. So this is actually what happened. This is all the Prakriti part. Now you need to make it function. And from Prakriti to transform this, that also happened because of the time factor only. This happened because of time from the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord, he made all these things happen. He glanced at Prakriti, which is called Kala, and which transformed into all elements. Now Prakriti is done. Now you have to make it function. Now the Supreme Lord, he gives the energy part. And this is called consciousness. Like now the car is there, but you need to have a driver who is conscious, who will make it function like that. Now to make the car, the person is making, and to run the car, the person is doing. Similarly, for creation, the Supreme Lord is doing, and to make it function, Supreme Lord is doing. The cause is also him, the effect is also him, like that. So the example is given of potter. He is making it, all the ingredients are there. Without the entering of the potter, that pot cannot be made. Similarly, without the entering of the Supreme Lord, so he is giving the ingredient parts also. With by the time it transforming energy. Now, second is what is needed, the consciousness. Now the time entered, it changed into all elements. Consciousness entered, it starts functioning. This is what is happening. The functioning happens when consciousness comes. The car moves when the living entity enters. So here Prakriti and Aham Bija Pradapita. I am the seed giving father. Now for a living entity when he enters, now he is having karma and swabhava. And based on this, what will happen? These two things are there. And based on this transformation, which is functioning part, it starts working. It gives different bodies. Now it is active part. Now you enter into it, like say, now I paid something. According to my payment, I am given the food, or according to the payment, I am given the body. So my payment is what is my karma and what is my swabhava. Based on this, I get my bodies. Like that. Now the material nature which is conscious, it gives the bodies because it is conscious, it's not what to give. The nature which you are seeing, it is live, it is alive. It is not just inert, dead matter. It is live, and based on our reciprocation to it, it is also going to reciprocate. That's why you do mischief with nature, nature is punishing. And everybody understand this, but they don't follow. What happens is more we do sense gratification, now we become farther from nature, further from relationship with people. Previously, people were having connection with each other and they had connection with nature also. Now, what is happening is the training is given is the ego is the problem. Ego is the problem, which is going to be explained in this chapter also. This ego, it makes us a consumer. How ego makes us a consumer? It makes us that we are separate from each other and I need to enjoy. And this is actually what is happening. The modern way of living is separating us from each other. Like previously, used to have joint families. You all know it. Now you are nuclear family. And now nuclear family also person stays alone only. There are always separations. Children are one place, father is at one place, mother is at one place. Because of which, what is happening? We are having loneliness. So uh, this loneliness is making us consumer. This is one reason. Another is sense gratification. This is another thing which is making us separated from nature. Now, previously, I used to feel responsible for society. I used to feel responsible for my family. So, joint family, even though I may like, I may not like, I used to stay in a joint family because it's together we have to work. Now, what is happening? We are getting separated, and because of this separation, we are not able to live properly. Like, I'll give an example. Now, I want to make profit. I will not mind damaging the environment now because of this problem, because of this ego problem, because I am separating myself from the nature, I am separating myself from the family. I don't mind what is happening to others. I will contact, I will give adultery in my food. So much adultery now in the food. There are putting pesticides in growing, and after that there are so many preservatives, and recently animal fat is added in vegetarian food also, in the ghee also. All these things is because of this one reason only. We are not living in harmony. We are separating ourselves more and more and more from the natural living. Because we are not understanding that nature is conscious. Nature is conscious. If you don't understand this, we are getting like I'm dealing with a conscious person. If I don't do it properly, there is a punishment. I think, who cares? Who cares? And people are becoming very lonely and all. 12% in India, they are started facing some mental problems. 27% in Europe and 55% in America. Only because of this reason. Because we are not living in harmony. We are staying alone, alone, alone. More we do sense gratification, we get separated from people, separated from nature. Sense gratification, it separates us from people and nature also. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give Vairagya Vidya. It's a education how to be detached. Detached from what? Detached from sense gratification. Then we can see what is nature, then we can connect to it, then we can connect to people also properly. That is the proper way of living. That's why there was Varnashrama, to help a person to be properly connected based on his swabhava, karma and swabhava. We need to connect. to the nature properly. And that's why the Varnashram system was developed. Now, it is a very scientific system to help a living entity properly relate to people, properly relate to nature. And then, being in a conscious place, conscious world, we are saving ourselves. We live, people live unconscious only, they just live, not even considering that for them, people are also not conscious. What to speak of animals? Animals they are killing and eating. They are not understand. It's a conscious event. We should not harm it, and they are not even conscious about humans, animals, plants. They just destroy it. But here, by hearing here from this, the whole Lord is entering and is making it conscious. The Supreme Lord is there everywhere. The Paramatma is there everywhere. He is the conscious energy. We are offending the Supreme Lord because it is He created. Like, no, even this genetically modified things. What is the genetically modified things? We think we are more intelligent than the Supreme Lord. That's why we are trying to change what He has created. You are trying to modify apple, you are trying to modify all plants, you are trying to modify animals because you want to eat them. You made a Jersey cow and all these things. That is basically you are telling the Lord, I am more intelligent. GM seeds and genetically modification, we think we are more intelligent than Supreme Lord. So this is the mentality. Genetically modification is this is the mentality. Lord already created. He knows why He created and why you want to modify it. This is foolishness. And here this chapter going to explain some of the things. So this creation is conscious. Supreme Lord is there everywhere. No, the Prabhupada says every atom in between atom also is there. Is a one, but is conscious and making it function. We have to obey His will. We have to go with nature. Our heating habits and all the habits should be according to nature's way only. We cannot eat anything and everything. It is wrong. You know, we want to have mangoes in winter also, rainy season also. And we think we have defeated the nature or we have become successfully or more intelligent. No, Lord knows when to give mangoes. You cannot eat in all seasons. You cannot do everything in all seasons. It's not correct. Why the Chaturmas is there? Why we should not eat certain food items in this season? Why we should not eat in the after the sunset very heavy? People they are taking heavy meals in the night, dinner, and no, they say this is a party, you have to eat in dinner. It is not correct. You are going against the nature. It's conscious. It's going to punish. It's something mechanical, na? Like car. You can manipulate it. You can change the shape of the car. You can do so many things with the car because it's a dead thing. But it's not with the nature. Overall, it's conscious. You cannot just modify like that. You have to go according to that. And here, uh, Prabhupada is continuing here. The personality of Godhead Kapila continued. When the living entity is thus unaffected by the modes of material nature, because he is unchanging and does not claim proprietorship, he remains apart from the reactions of mode. Although abiding in a metal body, just as a sun remains aloof from its reflection in water. This is actually a very important point. If we are the living entity is unaffected, when it is unaffected, when it does not claim proprietorship, that means this is the ego part I was telling. This ego is the cause of bondage for us. Once we give up this ego, then he remains apart from the reactions of modes. Then nothing will affect us. It is affecting Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani. Gunai Karmani means this modes. Gunai Karmani Sarvashaha. It is modes that are acting. If you know it, Ahankara Vimudhatma Kartaham Manyate. But if you are in Ahankara, then you are born. Otherwise, there is no chance only, even though the modes are doing. So, although abiding in the metal body, he is just a sun aloof from its reflection in water. And Prabhupada is summarizing from the previous verse. He says, in the previous chapter, Lord Kapila has concluded that simply by beginning the discharge of devotional service, one can attain detachment. and transcendental knowledge for understanding the science of God. So, Vairagya Vidya, we were discussing this detachment and knowledge. And what type of knowledge? Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga. Here, the same principle is confirmed. A person who is detached from the modes of material nature remains just like a sun reflected in water. So, even though the movements of the sun are seen, like no, the water is moving, the sun is also moving. If sun is, but it is not affecting it. It's just a movement of water. When the sun is reflected in water, the movement of water or the coldness or unsteadiness of water, coolness and cannot affect this. Similarly, Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha. When one engages fully in the activities of devotional service, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, he becomes just like a sun reflected in water. Although a devotee appears to be in the material world, actually is transcendental. The sun reflects on the water and it is very far. So avikara means without change. And this is also another thing. And here one point Prabhupada is very nice. He says that the eternal position is to cooperate or doubted his energy with Supreme Lord. Now here he says this is the unchanging. As soon as he employs his energy and activities for sense gratification, this change of position is called vikara. This is what is happening. Two things I told. Sense gratification will separate us. Sense gratification is separating us from the people. The less we do, more we are closer to the Supreme. Similarly, even in the material body, when we practice devotional service under the direction of spiritual master, he comes to the position which is without change because that is his natural duty. As stated Srimad Bhagavatam, liberation means transcend resentment in one's original position, and that is Bhakti Yoga. And here, same thing Prabhupada says, when one becomes detached from material attractions and engages fully in devotional service, that is changelessness. Akritatvat, meaning not doing anything for sense gratification. When one does something when one does something at his own risk, there is a sense of proprietorship and therefore a reaction. See, very clear. If you are taking risk, you have to take everything as payment. There is a sense of proprietorship. If as soon as you feel that this is my house, you have to take the reaction. This is my family, take the reaction. Anytime we claim proprietorship, Maya Sakta Manapartha Yogam Yunjan Madashre Asansayam Samagrama. Sorry, where is this name? 3.30 shloka, Krishna says, Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyas Adhyatma Chetasa. Nirasir Nirmama. Nir Ashir, no desires. Nirmama. Mama means I and mine. So false proprietorship. But when does everything for Krishna, there is no proprietorship over activity by changelessness and by not claiming the proprietorship. One can immediately situate himself in the transcendental position in which one is not troubled by the modes of nature. That is possible for us now also. Now here Prabhupada the Kapila start telling some more very detailed way. He says that when the soul is under the spell of material nature and false ego, this is the problem for us. The problem is false ego. So false ego is doing what? Two things. It is making us separate. The loneliness, the individuality. Like this is the greatest trouble for the living entity. This false property. Krishna is telling, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manasashtanindiryani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. He says, Mamai Vamsho, you are my part. But because you are separating, just by understanding, oh, I belong to Krishna, but I want to be independent. But unfortunately, we are never independent. We are always dependent. Like food, we are dependent. We are dependent on air, we are dependent on water, we are dependent on sunlight. And who is giving it? Supreme Lord is only giving. We are already dependent. Only thing is we don't want to accept it. We want to remain independent. That is the reason we are going through all these sufferings. Identifies his body as a self. He becomes absorbed in the material activity. And by the influence of false ego, he thinks that he's the proprietor of everything. Bas, finish. So, and actually, and now when now presently it is becoming more and more problem for people. Previously, at least there was some responsibility. Yes, yes, I am responsible. But now people, that is what we have to teach children. I was telling this again and again. Many times we have discussed this point also. What is the training parents give to children? Beta, no, you work hard, future you will enjoy. This is the wrong training. No, work hard and future you will enjoy. This is the very wrong way of training. We should not train to enjoy. We should tell, take responsibility. You have to work hard because it is your responsibility. That is why work hard. This is what we have to teach. You have to work hard because it is your. Why you have to do it? No, this is your responsibility. Now, with nature also I am responsible. Family also I am responsible. Now, why I have to give class? Because I am responsible for it. Not that I'll enjoy in future. That will come byproduct. But more important is responsibility. Then child when he grows na, he will understand happiness is not in sense gratification. Happiness is in responsibility. So this is another type of happiness. Is in responsibility. Like my happiness is, this is very important. My happiness lies in making my superiors happy. That means my happiness is in their happiness. This is what to be taught. Nowadays, this is not taught for children, and that's why there is all problem. Like I had S.A. Prasad Bhagavatam, Lord Rama, what is the example? He is telling, okay, my father wants, that is my happiness. What is Bharata doing? He could have happily enjoyed kingdom. He said, no, 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 I want to make my brother happy. What is Lakshmana doing? He is serving Mother Sita and Lord Ram. Why is doing he can stay at happily is king? No, 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 no. My happiness is in serving them. My happiness is in pleasure of my superiors. What Hanuman is doing everywhere, what Pandavas are doing, they want to, when they were asked, what do you want to do? What do you want? Everybody is saying, oh, Yudhishthira will become king and we'll assist him. Arjuna could have become himself king, could have taken some place and he could have become king. But he said, no, I want to be under him. There is no question only. If Yudhishthira would have known that Karna is his elder brother, he would have not become king. He said, no, I have to please him. Because that is a different level of happiness. That's happiness in responsibility, happiness in accepting that my pleasure is in the pleasure of my superior. This is what the training is given from childhood only. Your mother is not happy, father is not happy. So you have to do what makes them happy. And he will do like that. And even if they become old also, no, he want to please them. He will not throw them in the old age home. No, no, I want to please them. I have to be, whatever is needed, I have to do for them. And whatever they say. And then their children will do the same thing. Their children will do the same thing. It's everything is in harmony because you are just following the order. That is what is Varnashram was. You are just living in harmony. You had to do. But now what is happening is we are trying to do it in a wrong way. We are trying to force and trying to get enjoyment. This is what is a training. Work hard and enjoy. That means what he will think enjoyment is the purpose of life. No, responsibility is the purpose of life. There is a different level of happiness you get in responsibility. Even though you may initially not like it, but this is in mode of goodness. This is a goodness pleasure. This is in passion. So passion, initially it looks very attractive. You are enjoying. But lot later on, the parents are suffering the relationship problem because I want to enjoy, but my wife does not give, my husband does not give. What to do? Separate. Now wife says I want to work on my career and family life is not working. Separate. Husband says you are interfering. Children are interfering. What to do? Abortion. Kill them. kill in the womb only because they are obstruct. Array, you enjoyed, then the child is coming, you have to take responsibility. Na? Why are you killing them? Because it is obstructing my enjoyment. So you are going against. So many mistakes are done like that because they don't want to take responsibility. They only want to enjoy. Responsibility for society. Even if I don't do anything good, at least I should not damage the society. I should not create any mischief. I should not pollute it with my plastic, and I should not adulter the food. I should not damage the environment. All the things are responsibility that is to be taught. That type of happiness is in mode of goodness. The happiness which we are trying to enjoy is mode of all fast food, junk food, and all the non-vegetarian. It's all with this meant. See, even in Vedas also there is non-vegetarian is given in some places non-vegetarian is. Even Bhagavatam also it tells, the king, somebody ate this. But you see the difference, they are not, Prabhupada says this only, they are not opening an organized slaughterhouses. Once in a while they killed an animal to eat, but it is not that every day you are killing millions of animals. You see the difference? Even though they ate, they did not eat every breakfast, lunch, dinner. It is coming from the factories. You are slaughtering them in millions. How much sinful it is? Because the purpose is you just have to enjoy. There is no responsibility, and this is not taught. My happiness is in the happiness of my superior. This is not taught. How much you know now? Whatever the children are coming, they are completely damaged mentally. And what will happen to the society? How much crime will increase? Because they are already damaged. They are not taught only right things. Even parents themselves don't know what they will teach. They are also not working for the pleasure of somebody superior. They just are upset with their own elderly parents and all. What they will teach to the children? It's all big mess. Actually, the conditional is forced to act under the pressure of modes of mental nature. The living entities now has no independence. See, we don't have independence. We are falsely declaring independence and we are getting caught. When he is under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is free. Our real freedom is when we express our dependence on Supreme Lord. This is also another important thing. What happens is, we say example is like a swamp. If somebody is caught in the swamp, if he is working more hard, he will go more and more faster, deeper inside. But if he takes help of a person outside, he can come out of it. Similarly, we are actually declaring I am independent, I am independent. But a person who is outside, he has declared his dependence on the Lord. He became free. When we take his help, we also can come out of it. A person who is free, he declared his dependence on Lord. And who is in the swamp, he is caught up with this. We are saying I am independent. So when we are saying I am independent, we are in the swamp. But if we are dependent on the Lord, that is freedom. When he is under the direction of Supreme Personality of God, he is free. He is out of the swamp. We are all in the swamp now. But when under the impression that he is satisfying his senses, he is engaging in sense gratification activities, he is actually under the spell of material nature. And which is making us so, nowadays it is making a person very, very lonely, more and more lonely. We are getting more and more separated. We say, okay, I don't want anybody. I am already detached. Like no, in proper, this is another thing. Like hippies, they can already claim, okay, we are already detached. Prabhupada said, you already are detached. They didn't had any family, this, that. So it looks like they are detached. But what they are not detached from, they are not detached from the sense gratification, hippies. They are detached from all the family. Now, they are not, here the problem is, this is actually what is happening to people. They say, I want to be alone. But you don't want to be alone. You want to have your mobile, you want to have your TV and full internet. And you want to have some nice sense gratification to eat and sleep and you want to enjoy. That is why people are alone. They say I'm alone. They are not alone. They want to be with internet and mobile. That means they are doing sense gratification. That's why they are alone. That is not alone. Your loneliness. You are separating yourselves. You are not able to connect to people also. People stay with their neighbors years and years. They don't know even the neighbors also. At least here we give prasadam, so we come to know the neighbors. But people they don't care. It's so impersonal and like His Holiness Radhanama says, the impersonalists in India are more personal than devotees in the West also. He said, because there is so much, because what is happening, more you do sense gratification, and the West, the sense gratification is more stronger than in India. They have more variety of sense gratification compared. But what is happening to people, they are becoming lonely, they are becoming more impersonal. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi, even Prabhupada said, ever thought that somebody Mayavadi outside and in India, Prabhupada is maybe he is very, there is enemies or something. Then they understood, no, it is us only. We have this mentality. So here says, Bhagavad Gita said, Prakriti Kriyamanani. When acts according to the particular modes of nature is acquired. Guna refers to the qualities of nature. He is under the qualities of nature, but falsely thinks he is a proprietor. This false sense of proprietorship can be avoided simply by engaging oneself in devotional service. And like uh, Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita was trying to accept himself the responsibility of killing his grandfather and teacher in the fight. But he became free from the proprietorship activity when he acted under direction of Krishna. And he didn't damage also relationships. People will say, Array, if I do my things, I am damaging relationships. No. Here Arjuna is fighting with his guru, his teacher. So career and family relationships. Both are actually problem with people. They don't know how to balance. How to balance career, how to balance family life. And here Arjuna also had the same relationship with his grandfather, career with his teacher. Both he is having crisis. And he wanted to balance, but it didn't work. And he wanted to have proper relationship also with them. He don't want to damage, he's killing them. But now after doing that also he could maintain relation. Bhishma was not upset with Arjuna because of him only he fell down. But he was yes, because he did under the direction of Krishna. He fought, but is actually free from the reactions also. Although in the beginning he was non-violent, unwilling to fight, the entire responsibility was upon him. That is the difference between liberation and conditioned souls may be very good and act in modes of goodness, but still he is conditioned under the spell of nature. A devotee, however, acts completely under the direction of Supreme Lord. We are not independent. We have to be dependent. We have to, what do you say? We have to declare dependence on the Lord. A devotee, however, acts completely under the direction of Supreme Lord. Thus, his actions may not appear to be a very high quality to the common man, but devotee has no responsibility. Our responsibility is to please Krishna. So here, devotee, na, it is one step higher. For outside people, at least they have to take responsibility. But for us, our responsibility is to please Krishna. It's not that no responsibility. Another responsibility of pleasing Krishna, depending on Krishna. The conditioned soul, however, transmigrates into different species of life, higher and lower, because of his association with modes of material nature. Unless he is relieved from the material activities to accept the position because of his faulty work. So this is also important point here. Like we have discussed also. Now, how the material nature is giving to the living entity according to karma and swabhava, the material nature, it is giving different species of life. That means different bodies are given. Because of his association with modes of unless he is relieved from the activity, he has to accept this position. So as long as we have this karma and swabhava, we are continuing to interact with the material nature, and material nature is giving different bodies. The living entity have no option only. Yeah, after going into Mahavishnu body, as such we are in a liberated state. But this part is still remaining. This is somewhere stored. Even though there is chitta, buddhi, manahankara are not there, but there is something called adrushta for every living entity, which is some stored energy somewhere, which is bringing us back to this mental nature and giving us different bodies. Without option, we are get caught. Here, the word karma dosha means the faulty actions. This refers to any activity, good or bad. So, na dharmam, na dharmam, kila kuru. Raghunath, so don't do dharma, don't do adharma. Good activity, bad activity, performed within better world, they are all contaminated, faulty actions. Any activity, dharma or adharma, people are so much into dharma, but according to here, any good activity or bad activity. You say, oh, now yesterday, very big personality in India, he died, Ratan Tata. But according to Bhagavatam standards, please don't get offended. This is Bhagavatam I am repeating. Good or bad, performed in this material, they are all contaminated, faulty actions because of material association. That's all. That's all faulty. It is not devotional service, it is faulty, even though you are he is glorified as one of the big philanthropists. But according to Bhagavatam, faulty action. The foolish conditioned soul may think that is offering charity by opening hospitals. He opened 10 cancer hospitals. So, means I'm not laughing at I'm just telling I'm laughing at my foolishness that we consider it's a big thing. But according to Bhagavatam, we think that he's offering charity by opening hospitals for material benefit or by opening an educational institutes. He has sponsored millions of people for education, material education, but he does not know that all such work is also faulty because it will not give him relief from the process of transmigration from one body to another. This is the point. What is the problem is you will not escape the cycle of birth and death. Now he has to take another body. And where he will get body, which type of body? Of course, he has done some philanthropy, he will go to heaven. He may enjoy for a long time. After that, again he will come back. Shine punya murtalokam vashanti. That's what. Finish. Are of doing all these things you can enjoy with some apsaras for some time and they can come back. You will not get out of this cycle of birth and death. It is clearly stated here, Sat Asan Mishra Yonishu. This means that one may take birth in very high family or it may be birth in a higher planets. Now this person will go to higher planets among the demigods for his so-called pious activity in material world. Definitely will go to heaven for his so-called pious activity. But this work is also faulty because it does not give him liberation. You are understanding? He has done so much, but it will not give him liberation. So what is the point? You have wasted your life. To take birth in a nice place or a high family does not mean that one avoids undergoing the material tribulations. The pangs of birth, death, old age, and disease. Like yesterday, so many people kept status in their even devotees also they have posted. But we have to go according to Bhagavatam because the condition. I'm sorry if any of you got offended, but I'm just reading what Bhagavatam says. The conditioned souls under the spell of mental nature cannot understand that any action he performs for sense gratification is faulty. Finish. It is subtle sense gratification or sense any action performs for sense gratification is faulty and that only his activities in devotional service to Lord can give him release from the reactions of faulty activities. Now for us, the devotees who are attending our class are much more superior than this big philanthropist also, according to these standards. We will not, to be politically right, will not say this in public. Of course, it is getting recorded, but I had to tell because you are all devotees. We should know this point. Because he does not cease such faulty activities, he has to change to different bodies. Some high and some low. This is called samsara padavi, which means this metal world from which there is no release. One who desires mental liberation has to turn his activities to devotional service. There is no alternative. You have to put star mark. There is no alternative. No matter how philanthropic you may be a big player, or you may be big celebrity, or you may be whatever you may be, but there is no alternative. This is the only thing we should do it. And this is a very Tena samsara padavi aso bhayet anirvrata prasangika karma doshai sada san mishra yonishu. We are given different bodies. We are very royally caught in this metal world. Any questions, comments? We'll take one last verse. Actually, living entities is transcendental to material existence, but because of his mentality of lording it over material nature, his material existential condition does not cease, and just as in a dream, he is affected by all sorts of disadvantages. The example is dream is appropriate. Now, I will don't get confused. It's very systematically Kapila is explaining. I will just revise only here because it's today. So here he started how when the living entity is thus unaffected by modes, he is unchanging. But if he is claiming proprietorship, he remains part of these reactions of modes and nature. As such, living entity is free, but he is claiming. And although abiding in the material body, he is aloof. And the example is sun is given. And then he says that the soul is under the spell of mental nature and false ego. But is free, but unfortunately, this false ego is holding him. This is what his Lord is telling. Identifying his body, soul is aloof, but he identified, got caught. He is becoming absorbed in material activity. First is false ego, identification, and then absorption. Bhayam dityat abhinivesha. This is absorption. And by the influence of false ego, he thinks he is the proprietor. So first is absorption, identification. Then there is absorption, and then proprietorship. Like if you see a small children, he first starts identifying with an object. Then he starts playing with it. Then he will say it is mine. You give a small child, he will see like it, some sound is coming. Then he get absorbed in playing with it. And after playing for some time, you say give it back. He said no, it is mine now. Like that living entities also. Once we get absorbed, we start claiming proprietorship. We says yes, now this is mine only. There is a question in the chat box. Lord acts through living entities. Personality is decided by the Lord. Personality is decided by us only because of our kala and our karma and swabhava. Maybe the individual did as per instructions of Lord without thinking of his own prestige or importance. No. We decided, Lord gave it. We too have Bhaktivedanta Hospital, Gopalganj. Oh, for this point. No, we are not doing any philanthropy activities. We are just engaging devotees. See, devotees have some tendency to do some activities. We have to engage it, and we are engaging it properly by like they have some tendency. They are doctors. They have tendency. Now, what we do, we engage the tendency, but we are doing devotional service. Now they are told, okay, today you work in the hospital, and Guru Maharaj comes and tells tomorrow, okay, now close it. Let us start some other project. Say, let us start some business. Then we'll do business. We are not in hospital or we are not in school. We are interested in to stay together as devotees and practice devotional service and have some association of devotees. That's the reason. It is not any. Today you are told this, and some of the doctors, if the Guru Maharaj comes and says to some of the doctors, no, this hospital, other devotees will manage. Now you come out of this project and you take care of another temple here. Will he do? Yeah, he has to do only. because it is not hospital or anything. For us, it is a pleasure of Guru is more important. Clear, Mataji? Any questions, comments? Yes, Proj.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, in context of Nirmamo, Nirahankara, Nirasis, uh, uh, as a devotee, Prabhu, practicing devotees, in what consciousness uh, we should uh, engage? I mean, our obligatory duties and regular duty which we are engaged as per Sabhava and all. So, in what consciousness actually we should um, engage so that we remain connected with Krishna consciousness?
We have to know, bro. Krishna is the person who is maintaining me. I have to do something which pleases him. I should do something. I should not do things which does not please him. I should not go to anybody else. These are all Sharanagati principles. I know only he will protect me. I don't want to go to anybody. That is what should be our emotions. That's how we have to develop emotion in that direction of Sharanagati. And that's all. That will be sufficient. Because now for us to develop spiritual emotion is difficult and we have to get rid of material emotions. So in between is Sharanagati emotions. We have to develop that. Okay, Krishna is there. I have to, he is taking care of me.
All right, right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, thank you all very much. We'll meet on Monday. Tomorrow I will try to take tomorrow morning 8 o'clock. We'll see any topic. I will post you. Hare Krishna. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam.